Yo, what's good, Laker Nation? Listen, I just got done telling y'all about Austin Reeves, and now I need to tell you about something else that happened at the Crypto.com arena today, because apparently the Lakers decided that Game 5 pregame day was gonna be the day that every player on this roster went to war with the media, and the next man up was Marcus Smart. And bro, what this man said in the tunnel before heading to the locker room is the kind of thing that makes opposing teams lose sleep. Because Marcus Smart didn't just talk about the game tonight. He didn't just give some cliche about taking it one possession at a time. He looked into that ESPN camera and essentially told the Houston Rockets that they should forfeit Game 5 because what's about to happen to them on the defensive end is going to be so brutal, so suffocating, so psychologically damaging that they're going to wish they had never made it this far in the series. And coming from Marcus Smart, a man who has built his entire career on making offensive players miserable, that's not trash talk, that's a weather forecast. So let me tell you what happened. Hey, what's up everyone? Real quick before we get into everything, that like button is literally what determines if this reaches hundreds or thousands of fans. Takes 1 second but makes a huge impact on the channel's growth. Just smash that like button right now. It's the easiest thing you can do, but honestly the biggest way to support this content. Every single like pushes this further, so hit it now. The setup is perfect. Marcus Smart is standing in the tunnel that leads from the Lakers locker room to the court. He's wrapping tape around his hands like a boxer preparing for a fight. Not his wrists, his hands, like he's about to step into a ring. And a reporter approaches him, camera rolling, and asks a standard question about the defensive game plan for tonight. And Smart doesn't even look up from his hands at first. He keeps rapping, methodically, slowly, and then, without lifting his eyes, he says, "You want to know the game plan? The game plan is simple. Suffocate them, take their air, make them hate basketball. That's the game plan. That's been the game plan since Game 1. And tonight, with Austin back, it's going to be even worse for them. They have no idea what's coming." The reporter, sensing that Smart was in a mood, asked about Stephen A. Smith's comment that the Lakers' perimeter defense is a sieve. And Smart finally looked up from his hands. And the look on his face, bro, that Marcus Smart look, the one where his eyes get narrow and his jaw sets, and you can literally see the competitive fury radiating off of him like heat off asphalt, that look appeared. And he said, "Stephen A. said our perimeter is a sieve." Stephen A. talks a lot because that's what he's paid to do. I'm paid to win games. And in Game 3, I did something that Stephen A. has never done and will never do. I went out on an NBA court and I put up 21 points, 10 assists, and 5 steals in a playoff game. Do you know who the last people to do that were? Magic Johnson. That's elite company. That's legendary company. And I did it as a defender. I did it while also guarding Houston's best perimeter player for 36 minutes. So when Stephen A. calls this perimeter a sieve, I need him to pull up the Game 3 film and watch what I did to Houston's guards that night. Watch their body language. Watch how they stopped wanting the ball when I was matched up on them. Watch how they started calling for screens earlier and earlier in the shot clock because they didn't want to be isolated against me. That's what a sieve looks like to Stephen A. Then I'd love to see what he thinks is good defense. Then Smart started talking about his role on this team and what it means to him personally, and this is where the interview shifted from intense to genuinely emotional. He said, "I came to the Lakers because I wanted to win a championship. That's it. I didn't come for the weather. I didn't come for Hollywood. I came because when I looked at this roster, when I saw LeBron and Luka and the pieces around them, I saw a team that was one thing away from being a championship team, and that one thing was defense. That one thing was a guy who would take the hardest assignment every night, who would guard the other team's best player, who would sacrifice his body, who would do all the dirty work that never shows up on a highlight reel. That's me. That's what I do. That's what I've always done. And I'm not going to let this opportunity slip away because some guys in Houston had a good Game 4 and suddenly the media thinks we're finished." He talked about LeBron with a reverence that was almost surprising coming from a guy as tough as Smart. He said, "People don't understand what it's like to share a locker room with LeBron James. They see the stat lines and the highlights, but they don't see what happens behind closed doors. They don't see him in the film room at midnight. They don't see him in the weight room at 6 a.m. They don't see him pulling young guys aside after practice and teaching them footwork and positioning and all the little details that have kept him elite for 23 years. playing alongside that man, wearing the purple and gold in the same locker room as him, that's an honor. And I absolutely refuse to let his possibly last great playoff run end because I didn't give everything I had on the defensive end. If we lose this series, it's not going to be because Marcus Smart didn't compete hard enough. I can promise you that. Then he made a specific promise about tonight that had me sitting up straight in my chair. He said, Jalen Green had 28 points in Game 4. Amen. Thompson had 19. Those numbers are not happening again. I'm telling you that right now. Those are not Game 5 numbers. Those are the Lakers were shorthanded and we exploited it numbers. Tonight, with me and Austin on that perimeter, with our full defensive lineup available, Jalen Green is going to have the hardest night of his young career, and Amen Thompson is going to find out what it feels like to play against a defense that doesn't give you an inch, not a single inch. Every dribble is going to be contested, every passing lane is going to be clogged, every attempt to get to the rim is going to be met with a wall of bodies. Houston scored 115 in Game 4? Tonight they're not getting to 95. Write that down. He finished with something that perfectly captured who Austin Reeves is and why Lakers fans love him. He said, "People ask me all the time why I play with so much energy, why I dive for loose balls, why I take charges, why I compete like every possession is life or death. And the answer is simple. I remember what it felt like to not be wanted. I remember sitting in my apartment on draft night watching every team pass on me, all 60 picks. And I remember the feeling of my phone not ringing. That feeling never leaves you. It fuels everything I do. So when people say I'm protecting myself for a contract, they don't understand that the thing that drives me isn't money. It's the fear of being unwanted again. And I will never let that happen. I'll die on that court first. See y'all tonight." He walked away. No questions taken. Just those words hanging in the air like smoke. And let me tell you, if you're a Rockets player and you just watched that clip in your hotel room in Los Angeles, you are not feeling good about tonight. Because Austin Reeves just told you that a man with nothing to lose and everything to prove is about to be in your face for 35 minutes. And there is nothing scarier in professional sports than a player who doesn't care about his own body anymore. And then the closing, which is the part that's going to be all over social media by the time you watch this video. Smart finished wrapping his hands, flexed his fingers, looked at the camera one final time, and said, "Vegas can put whatever odds they want on this game. Houston can come in here thinking they've got momentum from Game 4. Stephen A can sit on his show and call us a sieve. None of it matters, because the championship for 2026 is sitting in this locker room. It's not in Houston. It's not in New York, it's not in Boston, it's right here, in the Crypto.com arena, with LeBron James, with Austin Reeves, who's coming back tonight like a man possessed, and with me, Marcus Smart, who has dedicated his entire career to the defensive end of the floor and isn't about to let a team of kids from Houston take this away from us." Game 5, tonight. And there won't be a Game 6, because I won't allow it. And then LeBron said something that stopped me cold. He sat up on the bench, folded his hands together, and with a gravity in his voice that only comes from someone who has lived through more playoff moments than almost anyone in history, he said, "I made a promise to my son. Bronny is in that locker room right now, getting ready for this game. My son, and I promised him when he was drafted, when he joined this team, that I would do everything in my power to win a championship with him, not for him, with him. Father and son on the same court, holding that trophy together. Do you understand what that means to me? Do you understand the magnitude of that dream? I've won 4 titles. I've broken every record. I've accomplished things that people said were impossible. But nothing in my entire career would compare to winning a championship with my son standing next to me. And I am not going to let a bad Game 4 performance take that away from me. I am not going to let Houston steal that dream. And I am not going to let anyone, any critic, any analyst, any talking head tell me that at 41 years old, I can't still be the best player on the court when it matters most." The reporter, visibly moved, asked the simple question, "What's going to happen tonight, LeBron?" And LeBron stood up from the bench. He stood up, not aggressively, not dramatically, just slowly, deliberately, like a man rising to address his kingdom. And he said, "Tonight, the Lakers are going to close this series." There will be no Game 6 in Houston. I am going to walk onto this court in front of our fans, in our building, and I am going to play the way I've played in every elimination scenario of my career, like a man who refuses to lose. I don't care if I score 40 or 20, I'm gonna make the plays that win the game. I'm gonna find Austin on the wing for open threes. I'm gonna hit Ayton on the roll when Houston double teams. I'm going to find Smart in transition. I'm going to make every single decision on that court with one thought in my mind: we are not losing this game. Then he addressed Stephen A. and the age narrative one final time, and this is the part that's going to be played on every highlight show tomorrow morning. He said, "They say Father Time is undefeated. They've been saying it about me since I turned 35, then 36, then 37, then 38, 39, 40, and now 41. And every single year, I go out and do something that makes them push the timeline back another 12 months. At what point do they stop predicting my decline and start accepting my greatness? At what point does the narrative shift from LeBron is about to fall off to LeBron might never fall off? I'm serious. I'm setting records for points, rebounds, and assists by a player over 40 in the playoffs. I'm doing things that have literally never been done before at this age." And the response from the media is, yeah, but Game 4 was bad. One game out of 20 years of playoff excellence. And that's the story, that's the narrative. Come on, you're better than that. Or maybe you're not. Either way, I'll keep proving you wrong. He turned and walked into the locker room. The reporter stood there for a second with her microphone still extended, processing what had just happened. And honestly, I'm still processing it too. Because Marcus Smart just promised that the Houston Rockets are not scoring more than 95 points tonight, and if you know anything about Marcus Smart, you know that when he makes a defensive promise, he has a habit of keeping it. The man is a pit bull in a basketball jersey, and tonight, with Austin Reeves back beside him, that perimeter defense is going to be suffocating. Game 5 tonight. Marcus Smart is ready to make Houston quit basketball, and I genuinely believe him. Let's see what happens. Laker Nation, stay locked in, more coming.